I never thought the day would come that I would be defending Mike Lindell on this radio station, but what on earth are Minnesota Republicans doing to Mike Lindell? It reminds me of what national Republicans tried to do to Donald Trump the first time he ran for president, and how'd that work out? 651-461-9226. Where are you guys at on Mike Lindell? Because with 1 week until the primary election, I think a lot of us have not been taking him seriously. And I heard Chad today say that he thinks Lindell is going to win, and I think Lindell is going to win also. Now, the Republican Party attack on their own candidate, not their endorsed candidate, Kendall Qualls was endorsed. Lisa Damith was the candidate that I thought was the no-brainer who Republicans would elect, which, of course, leads us to what will likely happen, which Republicans will elect Mike Lindell. Now, the head of the state Republican Party tried to rat on his own guy, saying, I need you guys to look into whether or not Mike Lindell lives in Minnesota. If you're a Republican, do you feel like, my God, I just need to move to another state because the party, the candidates, it is the ultimate clown show? 651-461-9226. I do think Mike Lindell is unfairly being attacked. Now, I'm not saying that I think Lindell should be the candidate. I don't. Although I suppose if we really want to run a full test to see where Minnesota is, are we on the far left or the far right, may as well have Lindell. The only bummer in that sort of control, that sort of test, is that Democrats are putting up their most moderate candidate, Amy Klobuchar. Would have been more fun if you would have had someone from the progressive wing of the Democratic Party like they're doing in Wisconsin right now. Which, by the way, in our next hour, we will talk about Wisconsin's socialist candidate for governor, who apparently was sick and tired of the Minnesota socialists getting all the attention. And she proved she could not answer a very simple question, which I believe every one of our listeners could answer. Do you think Thanksgiving should be canceled? Do you still think? Which implies correctly that is a position she once stated. Republicans are going after Mike Lindell, saying, well, first it was campaign finance complaints about him throwing pillows. Then it was, look at all these lawsuits, Lindell's a train wreck. And just like the people who say, Donald Trump is a sexual harasser, when you point that out, it just makes the Trump supporters feel like, well, here, it's the big machine trying to take down our guy again. We don't care. We know he has warts. I think the same is true with Lindell. The more people bring up various failures of his, the more it makes people feel like, well, that's the establishment picking on the maverick. In this case, it's an argument over residency, which I'll be honest, I think if you are going to be a governor of a state, you should live here. It's a bold take. You might want to mark the time down that I said that, Dan, 3:11, because that is a hot one for me. That said, no serious person would argue that Mike Lindell is not a Minnesotan. He built his company here. He lived here. His story is here. I feel that this makes the Republican Party look like an absolute disaster. You're going after one of your own candidates before the primary, the week before the primary, trying to argue that he's not even a resident. To me, it shows the Republicans are afraid that Lindell's going to be the guy. And if you thought the path back to relevancy for Republicans in the state was the Mike Lindell show, especially when Republicans have the Michelle Tafoya show, which is sort of the dream scenario for Republicans. At least they think it is. We'll see. We don't know. Michelle's available to Fox News and other podcasts. She came on Chad's show once, and that's been about the extent of it. I just am a little startled to see the chair of the Republican Party reaching out to the Secretary of State, trying to embarrass Lindell and trying to make the case that he doesn't live here. Does anybody really believe that? Do you care? Are you like, oh, man, Mike Lindell, that guy's a carpetbagger? I mean, it just seems on the – and this is coming from a guy who thinks Mike Lindell as governor of Minnesota would be an absolute train wreck. I am not in favor of it. And also, I'm not in favor of bad faith arguments, and it feels like a bad faith argument to me. Here is a little bit of what Mike Lindell had to say on – which, by the way, like, the world is so weird, right? I'm like, I was trying to find – gosh, I wonder what Mike Lindell had to say in response to this stuff, because it's pretty remarkable for the head of the state Republican Party to be reaching out to I mean, think about this also. He reached out to the DFL Secretary of State. The Secretary of State, which many Republicans have spent the last 4 years trying to pretend like this guy is presiding over this incredibly fraudulent election system, can't be trusted, can't trust anything about it, Minnesota, crook, fraud, DFL, burp, burp. And then who does the head of the Republican Party go to? Yeah, I wonder what Steve Simon has to say about whether or not Mike Lindell lives here. Here's Lindell on his Mike Lindell show, which is on X and has like an anchor and has his lieutenant governor and some Washington correspondent. Like, I did not even know this was existing, but here's some of what Lindell had to say today.
On him. But the good news is, the more they do that, I just looked at Polymarket. Now we went up another point in the polls, up 75%. So it's like they, at least here in Minnesota, in the media or the people know who I was, and I never changed. Everybody remember, the things changed. Like when they attacked me when I first met President Trump, before he was president in August of 2016, and so the hit jobs keep coming, but. Headlines.
So I think he's right. He called it a hit job. He said that he's been attacked relentlessly. Are the Republicans afraid of Mike Lindell? Are you afraid of Mike Lindell? 651-461-9226. Texter says some of us Republicans are very dumb. They think Lindell can win, and that Lisa Dameth, who has the best chance to win, is a rhino. Another texter says, if the Republicans don't address this residency issue now, the Democrats will after he wins the primary. Better to face the issue now than later. Do you think that's really what's going on here? If that really was what was going on, don't you think Alex Plekich could have dealt with that in a way different? In a different way than sending a letter to the DFL Secretary of State? I don't know. Hire a lawyer. The Secretary of State responded, by the way, saying, like, I don't know. Like, it's not our job to decide if somebody's a resident or not. That sort of dispute is settled in the Minnesota Supreme Court. So the whole thing, in my view, was a publicity stunt to try to get an article that says, Mike Lindell, is he even a Minnesotan? And do you really think that? Like, it just seems stupid to me. Jonathan is on the phone at 651-461-9226. The truth is out there, Jonathan. Mike Lindell, I mean, I have plenty of bad things to say about Mike Lindell, but trying to allege that he doesn't live here seems laughable to me. Hey, Jonathan, you're on the air. Oh, maybe not.
No, wait, I fell asleep on my MyPillow. Oh, my God.
I mean, very comfortable, very comfortable. Great. I mean, I had a MyPillow for a long time.
Hello. Good afternoon, all. Could Minnesota stop being such the joke of political discussion? First, President Crazy Pants.
Yeah.
We all know how this is going to end. He's going to win, and I'm scared. And it's so sad to me that this is where we are. And unfortunately, I don't believe Amy Klobuchar has a chance to win.
You don't think Amy Klobuchar has a chance to win?
Absolutely not. And I'll explain to you why. People are exhausted in Minnesota. We are all exhausted from President Crazy Pants, from Tim Walz. She's part of that establishment. And I'll tell you what, for me as a Minnesotan, I've never been more embarrassed about our political system right now. Paul Wellstone is rolling over in his grave. And I truly believe at this point in our country, I would vote for you before I'd vote for Mike Lindell.
Yeah. And that is
somebody.
Sheer desperation right there, right? Like,
I mean, honest to goodness, is there not one person that can lead this state into the new world that we are all going to be in, especially with this new attorney general that is coming up, the stuff that they are going to throw at us? We need somebody there for the people. Not Mike Lindell and his stupid corporation that he doesn't live in Minnesota. We all know he's not from here. But at the same time, the world that we are all going to be in, good luck.
Jonathan.
And good.
Yeah, very good. The My Pillow bit was very good. A texter says, damn it, Jonathan, that was good. I'm so mad about how good that was. The Republican Party is asking Minnesota officials to clarify residency standards. At the beginning, when President Trump endorsed Lindell, they say in a statement like Alex Plekash just absolutely destroyed the endorsement, saying Minnesota cannot afford to nominate a ticket that gives Democrats an easy target, creates a very real possibility of another DFL trifecta. My question to you, does Lindell have a chance? 651-461-9226. Tons of texts on this. We'll share your thoughts. Your calls are welcome as well. Drive time on a Tuesday, August 4th, here on CCO. Bringing up the Jesse Ventura situation as a reason to think that it is possible that Mike Lindell would win. I will say this, in my view, Mike Lindell will win the Republican primary, and Mike Lindell has zero chance to win against Amy Klobuchar. Mike Lindell is no Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura ran as an independent. Jesse Ventura had political experience as well. Jesse Ventura was an unconventional candidate, but even Ventura didn't have the kind of baggage, even with his wrestling career and international fame. He also came back here, was a mayor,
Brooklyn Park. Yep.
Brooklyn Park. Kind of, and it was also the time and the candidates he was against. And as you pointed out, he didn't have
a party attacking him. He also ran in a three-way race.
Totally different.
So it's not like he won a plurality of the votes. He just got more votes than the other two guys. But I mean, if Mike wins the Republican nomination, it's going to be Mike versus Amy. There's not going to be a three-way race that can split up votes enough to create a center lane for somebody else to come out of it. It's not going to work that way. So the dynamics, I understand why people are making the comparison, but the dynamics are completely different.
It does say that we have interest in outsiders. And I do think Jonathan's point is interesting and worth thinking about. We are in an environment right now where I think a lot of people are just fed up with establishment anything. And it is part of what happened to Lisa Damuth, which, by the way, if Lisa Damuth does not win the primary, file this under my biggest political surprise of the year. And look at her campaign and say, what happened to Lisa Dameth? Where did she go? Why did she disappear? She wasn't a part of the Republican debate that was on Almanac on Friday night. She has been omnipresent in old school television and video ads, outside groups, her. But that's sort of been it. I think she'll be at Farm Fest. And so I'll be curious to see how that goes down. The Lindell thing is very, very interesting. Texter saying everybody knows Amy Klobuchar is going to win the Democratic nomination, so I think that people on the Democratic side are pre-voting on the Republican side to get Mike as the nominee. So I understand the sort of drama king and drama queen desire to try to create this idea that Democrats are going to cross over. I don't think there is a chance at all that a Democrat would choose to mess with the Republicans in the governor's slate and skip the chance to weigh in on the Angie Craig, Peggy Flanagan Senate race. Because you can't vote for DFL Senate and GOP governor. You have to pick a side. So I just find it impossible to believe that any significant number of Democrats are going to take a pass on expressing their opinion in Angie Craig v. Peggy Flanagan. Texters, if Trump can do this much damage to Minnesota with a governor he hates, can you guess how much harm he could do with Lindell, a governor he loves? He could slash more Medicare and Medicaid. Well, I don't know if I accept that premise, actually. Does Trump hate Minnesota or does Trump hate Tim Walz? And so if you have a governor that Trump likes, does that I don't think things are suddenly going to go great here, but I would suspect you get off the target list. And frankly, Amy Klobuchar checks that box too. She ran his inauguration.
Yeah.
So I think if Amy Klobuchar is the governor, I think the same sort of happens, that you get off the Trump hit list.
That may be true.
Depending on how she governed.
That may be true. But even if you're off the hit list, if you have a governor that cooperates with him,
well,
that's the danger that they're trying to point out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Can it be worse than what we've had here?
Man, I don't want to find out.
Yeah, I don't think so. If Kendall Qualls cared at all about this state, he would drop out today and throw his support behind Lisa Dameth, says a texter. Let's go to Gwen in her car. Gwen, thanks for listening and for calling. What do you want to say about Mike Lindell?
Well, first, I'm going to ask a question, and it
Sure.
might be inappropriate, but is he a felon?
Is Mike Lindell a felon? I'm not sure, to be honest. I know he's written quite a bit about his struggles with drugs, but as far as I can tell, he's not a felon. No felony convictions. Lots of civil lawsuits, but no felony, no crime type stuff.
But he did serve time in prison.
I don't think so. Did Lindell
I heard him
serve time in prison? I don't think so.
Well,
Yeah.
Can I say something about Amy Klobuchar?
Sure.
She kind of deserves to be governor. She has put on more miles flying back and forth from Washington to Minnesota. Everything that happens here, her pictures in the paper. She loves Minnesota. And I think she'd do a great job. And Mike Lindell, I'm sorry, but the picture I have in my mind is when Trump was running the first time and Mike Lindell was pounding on the White House door and they won't let him in.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Gwen. Appreciate it. It is like, to me, this is not where our state needs to go. We need serious politicians who are ready to solve problems, roll up their sleeves and work. We have a lot of work to be done in this state. And I don't want a circus. I want serious, boring candidates who can run and fix things. And that's where I'm at.
I'd also want to push back a little bit and just say I don't think anybody deserves to be governor in the state
Totally.
of Minnesota.
Totally.
I think that's a awesome responsibility that the people of the state of Minnesota will bestow upon somebody, but I'm not sure anybody's owed that at all.
Texters, I'm a Republican. I think Lindell should lose. Amy Klobuchar is going to have a lot of fun replaying 2020 election trouble. On YouTube, Jacob says a lot of people like Damith. Trump should have endorsed her.